All right, this is going to be an awesome show because I'm blessed with an awesome co-host tonight. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your friend CL King, and let's bring that music up so you can hear it. What's up, everybody? It is Impact Motivator joining you live from the High Definition Studios here in Impactville. This is one of the most exciting experiences in the world. Why? Because we present to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday a cathedral of resources. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is literally, and I have the Pope of the cathedral with me tonight, the great Danny Bronson. And you know, what we are able to accomplish tonight is going to probably help illuminate our discussion. Because Danny is he's 3 or 4 hours away from me. I've had guests as far away as Australia on this show. And we've been able to seamlessly bring to you content that you can begin using as soon as the show is over. And how's that possible? Well, you know, the information and digital age has given us this capacity to be able to do things remotely. Remote control cars was just the shadow of what was coming, Danny, right?
That's right.
Yeah, you know, to be able to do it without actually putting your fingers on it.
That's right.
And so we've gone through a large shift, if you will, due to the pandemic. We weren't just experimenting with it. We were forced to change our ways. And so tonight, I didn't give Danny a lot of time, which sometimes I like to do that just to spice things up.
Yeah.
I said, Danny, I want you to join with me and let's talk about, you know, because everybody talks about the new normal and the new way forward. I said, Danny, let's talk about if we really think remote work is going to be, it's going to stay, it's going to withstand the post-COVID era.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I want to challenge you tonight. So you're more than welcome to comment in the comment section tonight about what you feel about working remotely. Is it really here to stay? Is it valuable? Is it non-value added? Are people scamming the system? Has efficiency dropped off? All of those questions we'll probably get to in this rapid 30 minutes. Welcome to the studio with me, my friend, the doctor, the man, the myth, and the legend, Danny Bronson. Welcome, Danny.
How's it going, CL? How's it going?
It's going great, brother. And
great.
I am just so delighted that I was able to twist your arm and get you on the show, bro.
That's right. At the last minute. You're like, Dan,
at
the last minute. I said, well, okay, let's do it.
Listen, I'm an artsy. I fall in the artsy category, right?
Yes.
Yes. So preparation in some areas is a struggle for me, but give me the spur of the moment.
Yeah,
Doc,
you thrive.
I'm right there. I'm right in the middle of it, baby.
Hey, let's see. I don't know how I'll compare to Mike. I won't live up to his legendary abilities, but I'll give it the college try, man.
There we go, man. And so here we are. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to Impact Life 24/7 with your host, CL King, and the VP is there from 500 yards away. And so let's get right to it, Danny, because time will slip away and you got stuff to do.
Exactly.
How do you feel, you know, just from your perspective, that COVID illuminated maybe this area that we were not taking full advantage of relative to working from home?
Well, you know me, I think that we were on the way anyway. I think that we, our technology was pulling us towards this virtual world, an increased level of virtualization, and I think that COVID just expedited it. It gave us a reason to push this thing forward faster. So COVID was that point where necessity became the mother of invention, and it pulled us along. Which that's sometimes bad things can manifest into something positive. And I do think that this move towards more virtualization, more remote work, it can be seen as a positive thing, although there are risks involved too. But I think that there are things that we can mitigate and overcome.
Yeah, I agree with that. And thank you, gentlemen, for tuning in to Impact Life 24/7. I'm joined with my technical advisor. And technical doesn't necessarily always mean electronics. It just means anything that I don't understand. I asked Danny. And so when I looked at some information here, Danny, and I know you like to know the whys in everything.
Exactly.
One of the things that I saw in an article at ncci.com, it says, how has remote work changed during the pandemic? And so it said in May 2020, 48.7 million people, about 35% of the employed workforce, reported that they had worked from home in the prior 4 weeks because of COVID-19. And so that is up, because before then, the workforce had only had 4 to 6% of those full-time remote workers. But by 2020, the pandemic created a situation where almost everything in the economy possible to do remotely became remote work essential overnight.
Overnight, yes.
Overnight, bro.
Yeah. I mean, in those situations where, for whatever reason, budgetary reasons, political reasons, we were dragging our feet to invest in infrastructure, the way that other countries were investing in infrastructure,
right?
That became a thing of the past once COVID hit, because we were forced at that point to invest in infrastructure,
right?
Which may be one of our saving graces, because we are making those investments in infrastructure.
Now, let me tell you this, because we talk about some of the benefits of remote work.
Yes.
And I like what you said in a response on our Leadership Institute.
Okay.
We have a CL King Leadership Institute.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to become a member, it only costs you $3,000 a month. So just go
That's
ahead.
it.
Reach out to Greg if you want to join.
Yeah.
But you said something that really amazed me, and I never really thought about it. You said that the workers spend 1 to 2 hours getting to do that thing.
Yes.
But it doesn't add any value those 1 to 2 hours.
Correct.
Whereas a person that works remotely, they push a button and begin to work immediately.
Instantly.
Now, here's what some would say. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not, that's not my job to, make it so efficient for you, how you get to and from work. Your job is to be here, blah, 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 6:30. But have we not illuminated also the issue of, I hear this term, work-life balance?
Yes.
And how we were able to weave more of our home life into our work life. Some people think that's healthy. Some people don't. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll start out and say I think it's healthy. That's just my perspective. I think that one thing that COVID, I think, has done is that it made us realize that we were not getting sufficient quality of life experiences with work, right? So when you're at home, you're able to spend more time with your family.
Right.
You're able to redirect a lot of those funds that you were using for transportation to other things, or save. I think that's one of the benefits, that saves in fuel costs.
Yeah.
But I also think that there are advantages for companies too, right? Because now companies are in a position where, if I live in a geographical area and I exhaust the talent pool in the area, what virtualization allows me to do is to expand that talent pool. Yeah. So now I have people. Now I'm not just working with people who live in a triangle, where there may tend to be a focus on biotechnology and things of that nature, when I really need, data engineers. Yeah. It allows me to reach out to California. It allows me to reach to Atlanta, New York, DC area, and recruit. So I think that that's another benefit. There are other benefits. I won't lay them out, the things that I think there are benefits, but those are my thoughts about it. Those are the things that drive my excitement about the direction that we're going.
And the thing about it is that you make a great point in terms of reaching your tentacles.
Yeah.
Because we do that here at Impacting Life 24/7. All of our staff is remote. And as long as I am, I was going to say that live from Lead on Me. I can't say that on the air. But as long as I am the chief bottle.
Yeah.
As long as I'm CL King, that's what we're going to do, because guess what? We can still get done what we need to get done.
Exactly.
And we can save those must-be face-to-faces for team building, for getting together and fellowshipping,
exactly,
and strengthening our bonds, not just meeting to meet.
That's right.
Because some of those meetings are valueless.
Exactly.
Right. And so one of the other things that I saw in that article, Danny, was it was a recent McKinsey study that estimated that 29% of the work in the United States, now listen to that, 29% of the work in the United States could be done remotely with no productivity loss.
I agree. I mean,
and watch this. It says an additional 10% could be done remotely if needed. 35% of the workers working from home in this May survey, plus the small share of full-time remote workers even before the pandemic, makes up a similar share to the upper estimate. So my point is that in 2019, there was only 4 to 6% people working remotely.
Yeah.
And then we did some analysis and saw, a third of what we're doing could be done remotely.
A third is a big number.
Yeah.
And you know as well as I know that Pareto analysis, meaning that 20% causes 80% of your benefit.
Yes.
So what we're saying when we look at it that way, and it may, we got to do the analysis, but is that if we get a 20% increase, that 20% could be contributing to 80% of our productivity. Yeah. That's a big number. That's big. That's huge.
Right. And go ahead.
And one of the reasons I think that like I was saying before, that's one instance where we're not going to go backwards, and we're not going to be able to put that toothpaste back into the tube. I think it's here to stay.
It says that in the pre-pandemic period, most remote work was done in business and professional occupations, often by college graduates. Now, listen to this, folks. In May 2020, a survey, 57% of workers in management and professional occupations worked from home due to the pandemic, but only 7% of those in production and transportation, construction, etc., were able to work from home. Now, that's the what's the word? That's the scenario that we have faced since the beginning of time.
Exactly.
There is a division of labor.
There's a division of labor, and built into that progress that we see that happens at the cultural level, especially when, as we were mentioning before, once the automobile was created,
right,
wagon wheel industry went out of business. It's just one of the built-in risks associated with progress and innovation. So companies should expect that. It's just that I think the thing that has shocked the system is that COVID exacerbated that trend. It forced us to become more innovative in order to maintain a reasonable level of productivity. So now there is going to be a reaction to that, and businesses are not going to all be able to make that transition, at least not smoothly. So I think that I think the transitions are happening right now. I think we're slowly making a transition. I think businesses are slowly figuring out how to do it. I think that local communities are figuring out how to do it. And I think in the end, it's when it settles out, there's still that equilibrium, that balance will be there.
Yeah.
But we just have to let it play out, run its course.
Well, they did a survey back in 2020. It was a June PwC survey that found this, Danny, watch this.
Yeah.
83% of employees who could work from home would like to do so at least one day a week.
Yeah.
After the pandemic, they said,
yeah,
I would like to work from home at least one day a week. And
yeah,
then 32% of those said they would like to work from remotely full time.
yeah.
Now watch the employer side of this.
Okay.
Only 11% of the employers anticipated that a few of their workers would work remotely at least one day a week, compared to 36% before COVID-19. Now, here's my point: is that you know, when we talk about productivity, and I know this. I know people go into business to make money. You know, we created Impacting Life 24/7 LLC to get filthy rich, Danny.
To make money, yes.
I just want to pile up the cash and then give it all away. But here's the deal. I can see productivity rise when the culture in my workforce is healthy and strong.
That's right. I agree with that.
Right? And so if I've got a mom, if I got a staff, or I've got a mom who's got a young child, instead of making her drive that hour to come into the office, or making her burn up 8 hours of leave because she's got an hour doctor's appointment, she could work for me from home till her appointment.
Yes.
Take an hour and a half leave, and then come back after her appointment's done and pick up where she left.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So my point is that employers have got to tap into the forensics of how working remotely, those that want to, how it's affecting their productivity as a whole. Right? Thinking about the whole life. Like if I got to make you burn up 8 hours because you have to be in the office, or I can save you 7 hours, and all you got to do is take one and still be productive for me, I'm for that, Danny. Yeah,
I agree. And I think that one of the things that's going to have to happen is that at the level of the academy in academia, that one of the things that's causing the apprehension is knowing how to manage a virtual workforce. And I think that once the management schools develop a philosophy around that, you know, an SOP around managing that, and cascade that throughout industry, that may only happen with the new generation, right? It may, because the new generation, you think about millennials and Gen Z, that's the only world they know. That world is much more virtual than, say, us Gen Xers. You know, we were there at the cusp of it, but they've lived it their entire lives. So that's all they know. And I think that as the current generation moves through, and that new generation comes in, that there'll be less. The problems will diminish. You know.
Yeah, and I see exactly what you're saying. I was thinking about that today, Danny. That you and I, because you know we're like old heads now, right? We at the
That's right. Yeah.
We're at the barbershop telling stories now.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. We're telling stories now.
You know, the reality for us is that we have been able to be a part of two amazing dispensations.
That's right.
Right. We got to be the folks that was driving our 77 Lincoln on the highway and needed to make a call and had to pull over to the Phillips 76 to use the phone booth, right?
That's right. Use the phone booth. That's right.
But then we got to, that's what I'm saying. We're like straddling the fence, but there is now a new generation that has no clue of what we're talking about with that mechanized approach, right?
That's right.
And my thought process is that if I can increase your quality of life, if I can increase your quality of life and still increase the productivity that you present to me as an employer, I feel that that's a win-win situation. Now, let me ask you this. What we talked about this slightly. What do you think would be some negatives or some disadvantages of a robust remote workforce? or maybe what would be the anticipated negatives?
Okay, so anticipated negatives. So I think that, well, of course, there's two sides to this thing, right?
Right.
So there's the business side, and then there's the employee side.
Right.
So of course, we've kind of discussed some of the things that would happen for business. Is number one, just making that transition to incorporating a higher percentage of their workforce into a remote role. I think that it's going to be similar to forming a team, right? It's the forming, storming, norming, performing,
right?
So I think that we're in the middle of that. I would say the latter part of that storming phase. We're still trying to figure that out, but not every business has the same problem. Some are positioned better, maybe because of the investments that they made prior to the pandemic. Maybe they have the capacity because they are not physical businesses, they're more virtual businesses. Right. Virtual businesses made the transition a lot easier than businesses that require that necessitated people being face to face. So I think that making that transition for the business side is one of the risks, and mitigating that it's probably going to be a top priority. On the flip, and retaining their staff, because I think that now, especially with the younger people coming through, is that they're accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Not necessarily, and we look back, old heads, we look back and say, well, they just feel privileged and entitled. But no, it's progress. It's like when I grew up in a household, and maybe the standard income was here, and I didn't have access to certain resources. Now we come through, maybe it's a little higher, so we're able to provide resources for our children. Now they are going to see that as the norm, and they're going to reach for something bigger, something more, something that's providing a higher level of gratification. So those are the things that that's where I think we're going to be moving towards that. And those are the type of attitudes that are going to be dominating the workforce in 15 years.
Man.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So now on the other side, as far as, losses, okay. Like we were mentioning before, say downtown areas, their infrastructure was there to support the influx of people coming in. So those businesses are going to have to figure out another way to make money. Okay. There are ways out there, I think. Sometimes it's going to be, hey, I need to raise my salary, but that's a benefit, because now you're giving people work a livable wage. Okay. And that's that supply demand curve that we always hear about. When the demand goes, the price goes high. So now if you want people, the price of getting a person there to run your business is going to be higher. Some people are going to probably integrate more automation. That's going to happen. It's inevitable. Some robots are here, and over time they're going to play a larger role. I think.
I saw those robots at McDonald's, that the prototype that
That's
they were using. And that's a reality. Here's where I want to tie in, because man, I only got 4 minutes left with the professor, y'all. This is just not fair. Okay, that time flies so fast.
Wow.
Greg says that some of the negatives would be employees cheating the system and taking shortcuts. Now let's just deal with that first one, because the system is what we're discussing. Right? So in other words, the system was that mechanized World War II era mentality of a workforce.
Right. That exactly that industrial age mentality.
So then here's the deal. If my employee, and I know this from being in an office from time to time at certain places, I know that at home my productivity is higher because I don't have those peripheral distractions at work.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Those peripheral distractions. We don't even
Yeah.
count them. Somebody come up to your desk. You're going to go to the water cooler. Oh, you see Bob. Y'all going to chat about this, the sports last night. And
Yeah.
if you add up the cumulative wasted time
Yeah.
of those peripheral distractions.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But here, man, I could probably crush out in 4 hours what I would do in 8 hours, because in 8 hours I done went to lunch, I done took 3 or 4 breaks, I done went and walked across the campus, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so what we have to do is we have to say, okay, this system worked for this era.
Yeah.
But now when we talk about the system, there's a brand new system in which people are working in a different model.
Exactly. I agree with that. And it goes back to that non-value added time that we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
I think that one of the reasons I think the remote work is going to work is because it's kind of like they used to do those old studies in industry where they would lower the lights, increase the lights, play music, turn music off, change the temperature, just to see how the workers responded to it. What incentivized them to be more productive. Yeah. I think that something similar to that is happening with remote workers. The productivity is going to rise because they have a pleasurable, is that the right word?
Yeah,
a pleasurable environment.
Right.
They're in an environment that makes that, it keeps that dopamine flowing.
Yeah.
And that's what they want. Now, there's a spectrum of people, and there's some people who are like those extroverts who need that interaction. I think over time, if the metaverse is any indication, I think that those people who need that stimulus are going to find it, but I think it has to be some hybrid between that virtual world and the real world. Right. Maybe the virtual world is where you do the planning, and the real world is where you meet people and get that interaction. So I think that there's solutions to this thing.
Yeah, and I love the word hybrid because because then when you talk about hybrid, that definitely covers kind of both thought processes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because me, I want to get together and hang out person. Yeah. And being a CEO, I want to rub shoulders with I want
the CEOs.
You know what I mean? I want to rub shoulders with my people, with my friends, with my people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But then on the other side, I'm like, look, okay, we don't have to get together to discuss our strategy. Yeah. We can come on here on Zoom, get our strategy, and then execute it.
And they execute it, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it does add a degree to treating people like adults. There's just so much. Look, you hear the music, ladies and gentlemen.
I hear the music playing.
I kept my promise, even though I could have talked to him for like 3 hours. Danny, we'll definitely revisit this topic and see maybe as we go along the post-COVID era, you know, how we truly are faring, because the numbers indicate that people appreciated the capacity to be able to work from home.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, Greg said I should block his account. Greg says, how about just working 6 hours a day and getting paid for 8 hours a day would work for those of us that have to be in the office. So he says a compensatory, some sort of compromise would be for those of us that have to be there, have to physically be there.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah. Or do, some companies do 4-10s.
That's right.
Where you work 10 hours a day. And then I like the other things that we talk about when we talk about hybrid, flex time. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, hey, long as you get your time in, you can flex it. You know what I'm saying? If you got an appointment in the morning, well, then start to work at 10 o'clock. Then just make up your, flex the time.
That's right.
So I just feel like we can't just be so rigid in our ideology of what work looks like that we don't see and capture the new opportunities.
Exactly.
Okay.
I concur with that. Yes.
Well, I appreciate it, Danny. And this has been a very rapid, exciting time. Don't time go by fast, bro?
It goes fast.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Yeah. So time flies when you're having fun. So thank you, Danny. And I hope that you have a good rest of the week. Continue moving. And next time you have a moving project, just call me.
I'll call in the team.
Yeah, call the team.
I'll call the team.
We'll come in. Greg will be supervising. And we'll make Mike. We'll make Mike do all the labor.
Yeah, there you go. We'll make Mike the foreman.
Yeah, that's right, man. The hard hat.
Yeah, the hard hat.
I appreciate you, Danny. Until next time, I hope that you have a great weekend, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you take care, man.
Thank you. Bye-bye. You too.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for us for this busy work week. Greg says, cough, cough. Yeah, Greg, you always going to be somewhere supervising the labor force because Greg says he's the gunny. And he is the gunny. So, anyway, what an interesting conversation that we had tonight concerning telework. And if you've listened to this or you're listening to it after, type in the chat box replay or message us and let us know what you think about this subject. And we'd love to hear your comments. Okay, that's it for me for this week. I think we've got a meeting, Greg, Saturday with the folks in Kenya, looking at some opportunities for us to travel there potentially. So again, everything's potential, and then we take potential and we activate it. So continue to pray for us. We got our I Won't Try campaign coming up this fall, and it's really, really important to me. It is my project, our project for the year, talking to schools about not helping kids to not even try drugs. Not even try drugs. All right. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Greg, Danny, and on behalf of the entire Impact Life 24/7 staff, we say God bless you and have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.